Welcome to City Hall. I'm here with Mayor Johnston, and we are here to discuss what the latest updates are on both our protective measures as we've implemented them here in the city of Key West and how we're moving forward with recovery. We've been very active, as you can imagine, here in City Hall trying to decide. Everyone's I know has heard about recovery efforts and how we're going to move forward out of this epidemic. So we're here today to discuss some of these things with you. Mayor?
Well, first of all, I just want to assure you that Greg and I have been working along with other city staff members with the county, with Key Largo, with Isla Mirada, with Key Colony Beach, Marathon, as well as mayors from the three-county area to the north of us. And we're obviously taking a look at the numbers. I can assure you that all of our protective measures are in place for one reason, and that is to protect you. We're taking a look at those right now based on the fact that we have been at 73 new cases now since, I believe, Sunday evening, and that's going to be our barometer. Our barometer is going to be based on the number of new cases and also the numbers of tests that we have done for the city of Key West. So taking a look at that, we think we're in week one right now where we are starting the planning process. We are starting to take a look at Key West and what are the protective measures that we can relax? What are we comfortable with at this point in relaxing? And I think as we move into the second week of this, we are taking a look at primarily our recreational activities. Taking a look at our beaches and our Truman waterfront and taking a look to see whether the protective measures that we have in place there could be relaxed a little bit. But again, that's based on holding at 73 new cases and seeing a downward trend in the future. So
that's right, Mayor. As you said, we're promoting people getting out. We think that exercise is good. We think that everyone should be out. But what we're emphasizing as you see these relaxation efforts come into play and we start moving away from such restrictive atmosphere out in public, we emphasize that you exercise personal responsibility. Exercise social distancing, keep your distance, take your families out, be out there in the public. However, exercise the things that we're asking you to, and that way we'll be able to further relax the restrictions that have been put in place. As we move forward, we're discussing with different businesses, with different business groups. We've met with hoteliers, we've met with restaurateurs, we've met with bar owners, we've met with owners of attractions, and we will meet with several more groups. We're trying to figure out a roadmap. No one's ever been through this before, so we're trying to figure out a roadmap of what our road to recovery looks like. So as we move forward and we start to relax these, I cannot emphasize enough that we exercise personal responsibility. Mayor, you might want to discuss how some of the groups that we're talking to and how, what order that might fall in.
Sure. Here's the benchmarks that we have pretty much agreed upon at a county level. And again, I'm going to read them to you and let you know exactly what they entail. And all of them entail continuing protective measures for every single activity. But our first benchmark, and that is geared around, again, no new cases for 14 days and a downward trend. Also, testing results, if available, because we all know that the number of test kits that have been available, particularly to Monroe County and the city of Key West, have been relatively low. And then we're also taking a look at one important factor, which is the health of the three counties north of us, and that's Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. And the reason that we're taking a really close look there is that every indication that we have from the tourism market is the fact that this summer is going to entail 1 tank of gas trips. That means drive-down trips. And if you're talking about a 1 tank of gas trip into Key West, you're talking about bringing those people in from those three counties that we just mentioned, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So right now, there's still a relatively hot spot in the United States, so we're keeping a really close eye on them and their improvements. But barometer number one, bench point number one, we would start determining the details of relaxing protective measures for non-essential businesses, bars, and restaurants. And what that is just like Greg was talking about, we have been on the telephone and we have been talking to all of these groups and saying, when it is safe to open, what protective measures do you anticipate having in place? And we are sitting here also at City Hall saying, what protective measures are we going to require them to have in place? And once we hit that barometer where we've had those 2 weeks of no new cases and a downward trend, then we can incorporate those types of relaxation of protective measures. So do you want to do benchmark number 2?
Benchmark number 2 is once we experience these no new cases and downward trends, we're going to determine the details of relaxing the protective measures in the entertainment venues, how the larger group gatherings are going to look, what is going to be the new normal as it pertains to concerts, to sporting events, to things of that nature. Now we're anticipating an announcement from the governor here in a very short period, and we anticipate that there's going to be some type of plan put forth by him. We're working in conjunction and with the governor's office, with the county, to see what is best for Key West, because what might be best for the rest of the state might not be best for Key West. So we want to implement a plan oriented just to Key West needs so that we can move forward and keep our residents safe and open up to a degree that everyone feels comfortable.
Okay, let me give you benchmark number 3, and that is no new cases, again, continued downward trend, and the Department of Health has a comfort level from our visitor feeder markets. And again, our visitor feeder markets are the 3 counties to the north of us, New York, New Jersey, all of those areas that are our normal vacationers that come to Key West. So benchmark number 3 is we're going to determine the details of lodging reopening, hotels, vacation rentals, campgrounds, etc., and the removal of the checkpoint in airport screening. And at that point, when we remove that checkpoint at mile marker 112.5 and also our airport screening, we're pretty sure that everybody is on the downward slide, that we have a healthy vacation market that we would welcome into Key West. So, and at that point, we take a look at protective measures for the entertainment venues, large gatherings, putting on size restrictions on those gatherings, and also, again, requiring facial coverings for which basically we feel is going to be the new norm for any type of gathering that we're going to see in the near future in Key West. Okay. We're on benchmark 4.
Benchmark number 4 is based on no new cases, downward trend once again, obviously increased data, and then continuing to monitor the health and medical situation in local and regional tourism feeders. I think it's important for us to realize that when we talk about these different groups of businesses and how the staged reopening of Key West will happen, I think it's very important for us to understand that they all feed off of each other. Restaurants feed off of hotels, that feed off of bars, that feed off of attractions, and they all feed off of each other. So getting the timing right on this, whatever the restarting of the engine of Key West is very important. There cannot be a lot of lag time, but there has to be enough time for us to gauge the success rate of opening these things. So timing is going to be everything. As it is with most things, timing is going to be everything in how we implement these different rules. And we ensure to you that we will be on top of this and we will be gauging it every step of the way.
Yeah, and I think the final benchmark, which we're all looking for, is when we have a vaccine for the COVID-19. And that's going to be our final benchmark, when we can protect every single resident, every single visitor that is coming into the city of Key West. And the measures that Greg and I have talked about just now are in the planning process. We are planning, but we're planning based on strong guidance from the Department of Health. That's our barometer. When they say it's safe, then we feel that we can start to relax some of the protective measures, but not until that point. So everyone, I know you're looking for a date. We can't give you a date, but what we can tell you is that the city of Key West has done an incredible job of social distancing, of wearing masks, of staying at home, of taking the protective measures that we have put into place very seriously and complying with those. So thank you so much. That's the reason that we're sitting right now at 73 cases and holding. Do we have enough tests out there? I don't think anybody in the entire county would say that we do. We would love to have more tests, and we are trying to get more tests on a daily basis. But for right now, we are taking the guidance of our healthcare professionals. We have kept the surge down in our local hospitals, and we're doing everything that's correct. I know you've had to make some incredible sacrifices in the last 5 weeks, and you've done a marvelous job. And please be assured that as soon as it's safe, we will get these venues back open when it is safe, and we will do it in a gradual method and technique to make sure that we do not roll back our protective measures to the point where our numbers are starting to go back up. And that's everything that we're doing, and every consideration that we're making right now. But please rest assured, we're talking to the county, we're talking to counties above us, we're talking to the governor, we're talking to the federal government, and we're making sure that we are doing the right thing, the safe thing, in the time frame that we need to do it. So, Greg, any closing comments?
We'd like to thank you for bearing with us. We want to thank you guys for playing a part in this. We will get this thing started as soon as possible. We're going to be as safe and as careful as we possibly can, and we are moving in that direction. We want to thank you guys once again.